Alright everybody, back on the Ranger. I'm going to be working on the cockpit tonight. This is the start of part 3. I'm going to clean up the fiber optics, cut them down close to the control panels that I can get. I don't think I'll have a problem with that. I got my little cutters right here. I'm going to clean up the floor a little bit. I don't quite like it, so I'm going to clean that up a little bit, make it look a little bit better, even though, like I said, you're not going to see it once it's inside the Ranger. You're going to be limited on what you can see. Most of the control panels that will be flashing with the fiber optics that I have in it, which I showed that in a previous video. I'm going to repaint this side here too. I'm not too crazy about it, so I'm going to redo that. So I'm going to get started here working on this, and once I finish that up, I'll probably mount it inside the Ranger, and I'll go to the next step with what I'm going to be doing with the Ranger. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on working on this, and once I'm all done with that, I'll film it, and everybody have a good day. Alright everybody, another update on the Ranger. Been working on the cockpit. I trimmed down all the fiber optics right down to the control panels. Have it hooked up to some power. I just have the seat sitting in there right now with the astronaut taped down the seat here so he don't keep falling out. I touched up the floor. I redid this panel right here. Still not quite like the way it turned out, but I'm going to leave it go. Do have it hooked up to some power. Turn it on here, and looks pretty good with the light, but I'm going to turn off the overhead light. And once this is mounted inside the Ranger, I think it's going to look really cool. I may have to still lower the seat a little bit because it's a tight squeeze. I'm going to put the top of the Ranger on top of the cockpit, just kind of judge about where it's going to be once it's inside. And it looks like I may have to lower the seat where the astronaut is. You can't really see him. He's about right in here, but it's going to look really cool once it's installed. I think it turned out pretty nice. I'll pick this up here. Oh, there he goes. Get a side view here. I got the back panel lit too. It's got the 3 fiber optics in the back there. If it's going to focus or not. That looks pretty cool. So I'm slowly getting this together. Hopefully I'll have it in the bottom of the Ranger tonight. I did lower the seat, but I may have to lower it some more to fit everything in the Ranger. Here's the astronaut. I put a couple coats of paint on him, and I'm going to have to do a little bit more to it yet before I glue them in. So I'm going to continue on working on this tonight. Figured I'd share this with everybody, and everybody have a good day. Alright everybody, another update on the Ranger. I have it on a temporary base. This broke off the other day. I had to reglue it, sand it, clean it up real good. Where the rod is, and it's good support on the Ranger. It's going to be better to work on it. What I'm working on tonight is these engines. These are the only part of the model that's going to have enamel paint. That's what I had stock, so I painted it with the primer, number 2737, Model Masters primer, and then I used gray metallic, number a little wore off, looks like 0711, using the gray metallic, and it's looking pretty good. May have to hit it another coat, and I'm leaving the inside part clear for the engine effect. And if you look up here, you can see it. I got to clean it up a little bit on both of them, but that's where it's going to flicker. Over here I got two 5mm white flickering LEDs. I got to wire them up. I got the two 470 ohm resistors. I have this little cool tool right here that will splice or take the coating off the wire wrapping, which I use on my models now. I picked that up from HDA Model Works. This wire wrapping tool, I'll use that to wrap the wire onto the 5mm flickering LEDs. I got my little cutters here, so I'm going to go ahead and get started working on this. Once I get those wired up, I'll show everybody. I'll film that. They're going to be behind these engines right here. I'm going to have to see, because they go right back here, the two engines. I'll set in here like so, and I'm going to have to position the LED, center it, and see what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and start wiring these up, and I'll get back with everybody when that is all done. And thanks for watching. Alright everybody, another update on the Ranger. I have it sitting on the base now. I just have the top sitting on temporarily. I have to still work on the windows. I have to mount the back piece here. There's a piece that goes on here, and the opposite side I have photo edge. I'll have to check that out and see if that's what I want to use. Wired up both of the 5mm flickering LEDs. They're working fine. This is running off a 9-volt battery. I guess you'd call this installation on the wire wrapping wire, and I took it off on the ends here. I do run my resistor on the positive side. You can run on either side, negative or positive, and I always run the resistor on the positive side, but it's your choice. Like I said, I tested both of them. They're working fine. That's going to be my engine effect. It's looking pretty good. I'll turn the overhead light off, get a better look at it. It's pretty cool. Off of 9 volts, that's looking pretty good, but I'm going to be having it run off of 12 volts. So I'm going to work on this a little bit more tonight on the Ranger, the engines, and I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Alright everybody, another update on the Ranger. Tonight I've been working on the main rear thrusters. I put the shields down, glued in place, they're drying. The rear thrusters, I got them together, got it, the inside painted with gray metallic. I'll have to do the outer side here. I think the whole thing gets gray metallic. I'll have to look at the instructions. Might get flat black up on top here, but I'll check it out. And then you can see here where I'm going to have it lit with a 5mm flickering LED. I may have to modify these two shields. I'm going to have to probably cut down those two little sections, one on each, because when I have the engines thrusters in place, I had to sacrifice the landing gear in order to have an engine effect on this, so that it'll be in flight mode. But that's about where it's got to be positioned, and I'm going to have the 5mm flickering LED somewhere in here. So with the landing gear here, there would have been no way I would have been able to light the back end thrusters. So I'm going to continue working on this tonight. Hopefully, if I get everything done and mounted, I'll test it with the 5mm flickering LEDs, and when I get to that, I'll film it. And everybody have a good day. Alright everybody, another update on the Ranger. I've been working on the rear engine effect. In the instructions they call them thrusters, but you can call them thrusters or engines. I have two 5mm flickering LEDs in the rear here. Shut the light off, and but you can get an idea. It's going to look pretty cool. There's going to be some light blocking involved, but I think it's going to look really cool once it's all together. I've been slowly working on it over the weekend with the LEDs. I'll take the top cover off here in a little while and let everybody get a look at the idea I came up with. I'll still have to do something with blocking it off in the inside so it don't flicker all over the inside of the Ranger. I have the cockpit completely done. I'm going to have to install that here shortly. Once I get that all in, I'll film it. So I'm going to continue on working on these engines. Figured I'd share this with everybody. Everybody have a good day. Alright everybody, another update on the Ranger. Here's a look on the inside. I have the cockpit, everything temporarily taped down. Here's the two 5mm LEDs, flickering LEDs for the thruster effect. My little idea I came up with. I have to probably put like a temporary, not a temporary, but put a wall up somehow to keep the light back here, not flicker up front towards the cockpit. Over here I got the astronauts finished, highlighted them. The helmets, the front lens there I did in copper. Turned out pretty cool. Put a little silver on it, and the blue on the suit. Same thing with this guy here. And this guy here. For the overhead lighting, I want to use this tape, flat taped LEDs. They're double density, but I think they're going to be a little bit too wide, and might not have enough room in there once I put the windows in. So I ordered from HDA Model Works 2mm. Should be coming next week. Hook that all up and show everybody how I'm going to light the overhead lighting. Back on this, I'm going to turn the overhead light off, turn the power on, and there's the light effect. Like I said, I'll have to block that off back here. There's the cockpit. It's running off of 12 volts. I think it's going to look pretty cool. Maybe I can put the top on temporarily here. Everybody get an idea. And you can see on the inside there. Looks pretty cool. Then the engine effects. So I'm going to go ahead and call this a wrap for part 3. I'm slowly getting this together. It's time consuming when you do all this extra work, but I think it's going to look really cool. I'd like to thank all my YouTube subscribers, and everybody have a good day.